How to test automotive relays using nothing but a Dremel power station and a few alligator clip leads. So if you have a cordless Dremel, if you didn't know, this thing is 12 volts. And that's going to be perfect for us because it's 12 volt supply, which is what these relays are supposed to be running at. And you don't need much current to test a relay, so this is perfect. So all I've got is two alligator clip leads coming off these two contact points on the bottom. Or it doesn't really matter. So anyway, one of them I have clipped into this multimeter lead. The other one, I'm about to hook it up just to show you that it's 12 volts and a really good solid 12 volts, not like dancing around. So there you go. It's 12 volts DC, the same thing that your car only runs at like 13 or 14 if your alternator is charging, but technicalities. So I'm going to turn that off and this will still work. So what I'm going to do is show you which pins to connect it to and how to tell if it's working. So if you don't know how a relay works, I recommend you go and look that up. I'm not going to go into it, but you should know that when a relay closes, it makes a clicking noise, and that's going to be the cue that it's not, internally fried or something. Now in reality, you need to be looking for a completed circuit between the two power pins. So you know that, okay, well it closed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's completing the circuit. You still got to verify that. But for the sake of this video, for the sake of time, really, we're going to assume that if it clicks, the relay is good. So anyway, let's get down to it. This is the simplest case, a Bosch 4-pin relay, or really any 4-pin relay. That just means that you have two pins for the signal, or the, where you get 12 volts, you apply it to activate the relay, and the other two pins, that circuit's completed. So the way you find out which ones are which, or you look at the dropping stuff. You look at the side of the relay. On one side there will be a diagram like this. Now you see between 87 and 30 there's like a switch. Now if you don't know what that means, I recommend you go look up some electronics diagrams or circuit diagrams. That's how you know that that's the switch circuit. That means 85 and 86, which you can see here across that, I guess it's like an electromagnet or something, or an inductance coil. Someone out there who's watching this video could probably tell me what it is. But 85 and 86 are what we're going to be hooking it up to see if it closes that switch and we'll hear distinct clicking noise. So the relay generally has markings on the bottom. I'm going to turn on my little flashlight. And they'll be marked, so you don't have to guess. So you can see 85 and 86. 85 is at the 3 o'clock position. Sorry if you can't see that. 85 and 86 is at the 6 o'clock. You can see, looks like 30 is at 9 o'clock, and then 87 is at 12 o'clock. Apologize, it doesn't come out very well. Because of my piece of crap phone, but just take my word for it. So we're going to be hooking up 12 volts across the two activation pins. So one goes there, and then all we're going to do is listen for the click. Oh. Click, click, click. Okay, this one's good. This one is going into my Mega Squirt relay board that I made for my Micro Squirt build. Now that I know it's good. Actually, I already knew it was good because this is like take 2 of this video. Anyway, we're going to go up. Now, by the way, if you just wanted to test a 4-pin, you can stop the video now. Nothing I'm saying is really breaking information if you've already, that's all you need to know. But what I'm going to do now is go ahead and test some other relays. This one is pretty gnarly. Some 1980s Porsche 944 relays that I just kind of have sitting around. And some other relays, like this is a Volvo relay where it just has the diagram is a little bit different than usual. So we're going to just kind of discuss some of those. So like I said, feel free to just close the video now if you don't really care. LED back off. This is a 5-pin relay. Same idea as that one. They're both from a BMW 3 Series. And this one differs in that, see, you still have 85 and 86. And I understand the little numbers are kind of hard to see because of the color. But if you look at it, there are two 87s, the far right. So all that means is that it's the same exact thing as the orange relay we did before, But when it turns on, it gives 12 volts to two pins instead of just one. And that's useful if you have multiple things to turn on. Like, for example, your headlights. You have power going to one headlight and one, into the other. So you got two output pins instead of just one. The good news is the test is the exact same. See, this one's a little bit easier to see. We have 86 at the 9 o'clock. What was that? 87 on the 3 o'clock. The top one is 30. Shadow, you can't really see it, but it's 30. And the middle one is also an 87. And the bottom one, at 6 o'clock, is 86. 85. So all that means is that when these two get 12 volts, power goes from 30, which is the top one, to these two over here. It'll do the same thing, it'll just click. So all we're going to do, same thing as before, put power on the two activation ones and listen for the click. This one's fully functional as well. So that's how to do that. Okay, we're going to mix it up a little bit. Here is a Volvo relay. And here is a surefire way to confuse yourself. Look at that. Now I have an engineering degree. And you can see like there's a little switch diagram between two of them. But I'm still a little bit like I kind of, it's just not ideal. I'm not very familiar with this type of diagram. I'm just not very good at this type of thing. So here's a way to look at the pins and kind of just get an idea of which ones are which. This one is pretty obvious. See how two of these are really big pins relative to the other two? That usually means that the power pins, the ones that flow the higher current, they're going to have the bigger pins, right? Makes sense? So the two smaller ones are the activation. So this is actually, I haven't actually tried this relay yet. It's from the junkyard, so this is going to be actually like the first time I've tested it. So doing this live. We're going to put 12 volts on the two activation pins as we have the last several times and listen for a click. Okay, so there you go. This relay is good. Now, if you have a Volvo or you're smarter than I am, you probably could read this chart and or find a way to read it. I just didn't really care. So there you go. And lastly, we're going to look at one of these just complicated relays, like this one. I think this is like a AC relay. I think I wrote it on there. Oh, Windows. Electric windows. Okay, this is from an 85 Porsche 944, fresh from the junkyard. So, same thing as before. Let's see. You have a 30, an 85, an 85B, 86, and 87. So it looks like on this one, there's a diode in the mix and some other stuff. But really, we're looking at still 85 and 86 being the two activation pins. So let's find those on the bottom. See, it looks like 86 is at the 3 o'clock and 85 is at the 9 o'clock, yeah. So we'll just buzz these two. Oh, and busted. This one's no good.